Hi, I'm Barbara Cutrera, and today I would like to talk with you about True, 3 short stories. This is a wonderful little book involving 3 short stories. The first story, Clean as Cotton, was actually one I wrote for a national competition. I wasn't even aware of this competition, and a friend who is very persistent suggested that I enter it. This was before I started publishing. And I said, I'm busy writing novels. I'm really not into short stories. And she said, oh, you have to. Your books are great. And I said, okay. She had been a beta reader. And I said, okay. So I wrote Clean as Cotton, and I entered it in the competition, and I won second place. So I was excited about that. And it led me to write 2 other stories, just because. One is called The Heart of Victory, and the other one is called Imagine. Clean as Cotton is about a girl named Cotton Landry who lives in a rural area of southern Louisiana. And Cotton loves her father very much, and she's a very bright girl, but basically not in a very good area. And she has big dreams, but really no way to fulfill those dreams. So her father, through an unexpected twist of fate, gives her the ability to pursue her dreams, but at a great cost. So you'll have to check that one out if you want to find out how that happens. In The Heart of Victory, the main character is Victor. He is an assassin, really not connected to anybody in the world. And the only person he's sort of close to is his brother. And then his brother gets married and has a child, and he loves that child. He forms a bond with his niece, and her name is Tori. And Victor and Tori form a very strong bond, and that bond is only strengthened when she loses her parents, and Victor becomes her parent. Unfortunately, his past is never far behind him, and then he has to come to grips with his future, which is definitely not a future he ever envisioned for himself. And so it causes him to reflect upon what he's done, what he has ahead of him, how does he deal with life. He's a very unusual person, and what he's done is definitely put him in unusual circumstances. So how does he live in the ordinary world after all of this has transpired? In the third story, Imagine, we meet Imogen. And Imogen is a middle-aged woman who's raised her children pretty much by herself since she was widowed when they were younger. She's a hard worker, but she never got to do what she wanted. She wanted to go to college, and she was always working and raising the kids, and then her daughter had a child, and so she sort of feels trapped and frustrated. And then her 2 children, who never turned out very well, unfortunately, up and leave. And so here she is, middle-aged, working hard, raising a grandchild. And Imogen has to figure out how can she fulfill her dreams, or does she have to give them up at this point in her life? So you'll have to read the stories to find out what happens to Cotton, Victor, and Imogen. I think that this little book is wonderful because it introduces people who may never have read any of my works. It gives them a taste of my writing. Also, it's a nice quick read. You have the 3 short stories. I've had people who've bought this at a conference when I was doing a signing here or there, and they said, oh, it was wonderful because we didn't want to pick up a new book and start a whole novel. We could just read a story while we were getting ready to go to sleep that night, or while we were sitting in the airport, or whatever. So they like that. Also, at the back of True, we have synopses for all of my books. So every time I put out a new book, I put the blurbs in the back. So anyone who gets True will also get a synopsis of each of my books, which is great because it gives people an inkling of what my books are about, so that if they have read some of my books, maybe they were unaware of a new one that's come out, or if they haven't read any of them, they can decide, do I want to read mystery? Do I want to read straight fiction, literary fiction? Do I want to read contemporary romance? Do I want paranormal romance? So it's a neat idea, and we do add to it. Each time I put out a new book, we add a blurb at the back for the new book. So this is True. and I hope that you read and enjoy it. Happy reading.